Alright, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on Chain. So in this video, I'm going to cover a bunch of different AI coins. This is just going to be, we're going to kind of do just a technical analysis, aka with the charts. Jump into it, I'll give you guys a small little rundown of certain projects. I'm going to cover kind of two different sets of AI coins. I'm going to cover mostly low caps as of right now. I'm going to cover at least 8 to 10. The first few are going to be coins that, I cover pretty often, or I have covered often on the channel in the past. And then I'm going to cover 3 or 4 that personally I'm not invested in, but I've seen a lot of talk on the timeline. Seems like some of these coins will get a lot of attention going forward. I might just cover a bunch because, honestly, just looking at deck screener, there is a bunch that people are bullish on. I'm just going to give quick thoughts on each of these. So the first one I do want to cover before anything is going to be Link AI. So this one I have been talking about on the channel for months. And throughout this entire lull period from March until now, it has been one of the only coins that consistently has just been holding and even making newer highs. So the ticker is LNQ. So Link AI right now is at 25 million. This was the initial call that we had a long time ago. Literally, yeah, back in March. Yes, that would not be an 8x. I don't know what that would be. I'm going to leave that because I think long term I do want to see what this actually runs to. But ended up doing very well. As you can see, chart has been holding up. Still just, consistently bouncing, making new higher highs, higher lows. This is still to be determined. But LNQ still looks very good here. Short description, forefront of blending, innovative technology. I'm trying to see what I like about this. Basically, I'm trying to see if they would explain it here, but they're building a lot of different AI tools, almost like an AI toolkit for lots of different, whether it's individuals or businesses related to not even just Web3 and crypto stuff, but let's say you're a content creator. They're developing, tools, AI tools for content creators, for marketing, different sectors of different industries, and they have different kind of targeting for their marketing as well, aiming to, just trying to onboard a lot of people in the Web 2 space as well to actually use their products rather than just, buying their token because it's a good AI project. Certain things that I really like about this one. But again, it's just consistently held up. The founders on Twitter continues, to support the project, talk about the project all the time. But Link AI definitely has had my attention for a while and still does. I actually just can't believe how well this chart's been holding up. Like literally the best chart over the span of the last 6 months I think that I've seen hold up through this entire, massive correction, right? So another coin I want to cover is actually FLT. So we got fluence here. So initially when I first covered this was all the way back up at like 40, 50 cents. I think it might have been higher, but initially, guys, when we get a sentiment like this and we've been down only for months, I've said it before, it's very hard to time a bottom and find a bottom. Usually the sentiment is going to be key when it comes to finding a real bottom with the project. But with fluence, obviously it is a lower float coin at the moment. As in low float, what I mean by that, as you can see, the market cap literally is only 13 million, but yet the fully diluted is huge. But the reason why with this token specifically, I think it's okay for the time being, is because there are going to be 0 unlocks until sometime in the early/middle, potentially even later time frame of 2025. So that means that these tokenomics, aka the market cap, is going to stay very consistent. There will not be any unlocks. And usually when there's a coin that's low float, if there's constant sell pressure, that's usually something you got to look at. But sitting at 12 million, I think this has a ton of potential still. And so they focus on building a decentralized cloudless computing network. It's kind of like a DPIN slash AI project. Very interesting stuff. Their founders like really doxies, constantly, going above and beyond with with the project, and it's stuff like that I like to see as well. So this project, is sort of one that you could just bet on the team, bet on the founder, because he has a lot of experience as well. Let's see like how down it is from all-time highs. So technically, yeah, about 95%. That's insane. And if you go from the candles, around 86. So I really don't think there's going to be longer term a better range of accumulation for this token. At some point, if we get AI season or AI tokens to really come back over the next few months, this one may take a little bit of time to really finally bounce back, but I have a lot of faith it will, and it may, it'll recover a lot of these losses over the span of the last few months, probably in a matter of days, maybe a week. Because usually when AI coins, when they start to pick up, if they're already flatlined, rounded out, they're probably just going to rip. They just bounce like this. They'll start in like a run. That's usually what happens a lot of times when projects are bottomed out. That's why months ago I preach any and every utility coin. If you guys really believe in it and it looks like this, you might think the coin is completely dead, but that a lot of the times that is the complete opposite way to look at it. In a moment like now, where it looks like we're about to just go, full blown into, a real major bull run. Yeah, if we get Bitcoin, ETH, Sol making new highs, finding projects like this that are delivering a lot, consistent on the timeline on Twitter, constantly updating the community, still working really hard. And again, the chart's bottomed out. Usually those are probably the best opportunities you will ever get into jumping into certain coins like that. So always keep that in mind. And I feel like it's a fairly innovative project as well for the time being. So just one I've had on my radar for months now. But same thing, it's just going to continue to probably trend sideways / down until we see real recovery with a lot of utility coins, specifically AI coins too. So another one I do want to cover, I think I covered this a couple times in the last week, maybe 2 weeks, but is Graphlink. So Graphlink itself, they're developing their own blockchain, but they also are, they mainly focus on low code / no code tools for development in Web3. If you guys are familiar with Zapier.com, Make.com, if you're familiar with anything in the AI space outside of crypto, some of those tools for interoperability are, they're some of the most major and useful tools, at least that I came across. And that's exactly what they're building, but for Web3 tools and infrastructure. So I think it's a very innovative product for what it is in crypto. There really is not another project doing anything like this. I think Skillful AI was one that was, from what I got when I covered it a while ago, I think it was building something similar, but I don't think Skillful has anything out yet. But GLQ, that's going to be number 3 on this list. I constantly cover, it's about 0.66 to 0.7, or basically 70% diluted almost. So what that means is the tokenomics, there's not going to be much sell pressure going into the market, as in, when there's heavy downside. Overall, I think it looks very strong for what it is. Definitely a top lower cap pick for an AI coin currently. Even though this is, I think, an older one. I know it was here in the last bull run. But again, I feel like in the last bull run, their use case was not really prominent at the time. I think their use case now, that AI is actually like one of the forefront narratives. That is why I'm very bullish on it, because this narrative just The tools that they're building in and of itself are literally like the embodiment of the AI space right now. Building those tools and infrastructure is literally how you push this industry forward. So stuff like that I'm really bullish on. That's very much so why I like this project, Graphlink. So number 4, this is actually a very low cap. And keep in mind, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. I'm showing you guys a ton of coins right now that, again, I've had on my radar for a long time. And again, seeing that we're just this down overall across all utility coins, even meme coins are kind of down right now. I just want to show you guys a ton of coins that I've had on my list, coins that I've been watching. So another fairly new project as well. This one is called Shog. So it's explore open source decentralized AI. Basically, they're building a hugging face in which you can actually earn rewards for my god, like for contributing basically to the website. If you guys don't know, I'm gonna go to Hugging Face actually right now. Hugging Face is an open source community building platform, as in anyone can kind of deploy any sort of AI models, AI code. And again, it's open source, so anyone can, add to it. They can fork it, take it, do what they want. Massive, massive platform that many people in the AI space and developers use all the time for certain stuff. And Shog is kind of focusing on something similar to that, but in which when you contribute and actually, input a lot of your AI, whether it's code or stuff like that, you can actually get rewarded in Shog token for doing so. Because a lot of developers, especially in the AI space, they don't really get paid for building a lot of this stuff, a lot of them contribute all the time. But for them to actually develop at least some source of, even if it's somewhat minimal for the time being, income for actually just, contributing in certain things for AI, I think that's a really solid use case. Because again, I think, the open source idea about AI is one of the most bullish things for it. So any platform that's doing that, kind of rewarding, contributing, I can't even talk today, to AI platforms like that, I think is really cool. But right now, Shog is down all the way at its bottom right now. As you can see, it kind of had 2 little runs here. But same thing like I've said before, guys, market conditions are key to watch for here. This is probably going to bounce sideways / down for a while. Maybe there's another pump up, comes down. I think until we really do see AI as a narrative really just become prominent again, something like this as a very low cap, micro cap, it's going to take some time for it to actually make another leg. But I think when this starts running, it will definitely move pretty hard. But this, I feel like, is kind of a slept-on AI project. There's not too much to go off of it. I would consider this one probably a lot more high risk, though, mainly because it is newer. But so keep in mind, guys, this from current levels could go lower depending on what Bitcoin and ETH are going to do. Same with all of these projects, right? So again, I'm not a financial advisor, do your own research, but if you were going to be looking to add into something like this, I would, plan out a certain amount of capital you want to deploy, let's say into this one token, right? Best thing to do is just DCA at different times. Throw in whether it's 10%, 30% of that set position if you like a certain coin. The reason I'm showing you this now too is current levels are at one of the best discounts in history based on this chart, right? But I'm not saying that it can't go lower, because it definitely could. So again, if you DCA here, and then in 2 weeks it goes down another 20, 30%, which it could, then you throw in another 20% chunk of that set amount of, capital for that position. Same thing, let it run. If it pumps again, you jump in again. It's just gonna be right now. It's a waiting game. You just gotta play it like that until we have that next major move across all majors. Because once that happens, this is what the chart's gonna look like. We're gonna zoom out. Whether it came up, came down. You bought here, here, here. Once most of these coins make another leg, the chart's gonna start looking like this. And when you zoom out, is it gonna matter? If you bought it at 0.015 cents or 0.21 cents? No, because when you're up about 5, 10, 15x, it's not really gonna matter as much anymore, right? Because bottom line, you're buying into when the sentiment is shit, aka right now, this general area of time. Once the sentiment is ripping again, whatever price gives you, that's your difference, right? That's kind of how I've been playing lately, and well, really this whole bull run so far. But that's why I always preach to you guys for the fear and greed index, because it's as simple as looking for coins, jumping into stuff when everything is heavily to the red, even if it takes a while, and then once shit is all the way in the green, up to 70, 80, 90, if it can get to 90, 95, as simple as that, look to be selling and scaling out of positions 100%. Stuff that's kind of just as simple as you can kind of play it, even though I know looking at certain charts continuously going down only, it's scary to be throwing big capital into some of these, right? So number 5 here, I want to pull up SETI. I just realized this video is almost 17 minutes. I'm only halfway. So I might make a second video, because right now these are like more higher conviction low caps that I have. The other ones I was going to cover, I don't really cover or talk about too often, but I do see on Twitter a lot of people are bullish on these in certain aspects. So like I said, I'll probably make a video on it tomorrow. Just draw both of them, 2 videos in a row. But the last one I do want to cover is Tau SETI. So we had another person in our group actually initially show me this. I kind of saw this at launch and forgot about it, mainly because, again, if we zoom out, if you guys saw my video where I talked about how coins go through kind of 3 phases. They go through a hype phase, an exhaustion phase, and then accumulation. SETI right now is in the midst of accumulation / potentially on another leg up, but right now it's kind of a waiting game. When I saw SETI initially, it was straight up in this up only on the 4 hour, on the daily. And when I see charts like this, unless I get in really early, I will completely fade. I will not buy a dip on anything. Hype phases, I fade, and then you wait until the accumulation begins once the exhaustion's over. And which right now, this is a very wide accumulation range, but as you can see, price is just chilling somewhat in between 60 cents to $1.50, $1.60. And I think once the next leg up starts, it's going to be very clear. I don't think it's going to start from here, nothing like that, but maybe it does. Maybe it comes down one more time, trends sideways, and then once AI coins get attention, it does something like that, right? But same thing. I'd watch the lows. You could even just mark the lows with the little support around 60 cents. You can put limit order there if you want, and just mark certain levels like that. Just like that, just mark the box. But SETI, accelerate the advancement of decentralized AI and pursue. So let's pull up the website too. So I actually think this project is really cool, really strong. This to me it's kind of like a Tau or BitTensor beta play, but they're kind of just like a GPU AI project. And the thing is this team is actually doxed, and they have a legitimate they legitimately have done deals to actually create and my bad, I can't think right now. They like for physical actual GPU infrastructure, they've done deals with certain investment companies or people to actually get that to happen. And I think they currently have some GPUs at the moment. I don't know where they're based out of. I have to look that up again. But overall, this actually seems like a pretty strong low cap GPU play. I'm sitting at 26 million, so I do wish this was a little bit lower. But I mean, still at 26 million, I think for the caliber of this team and what they actually have doxed, what they've built, what they're already working on, this definitely does have a lot of potential going forward. Again, be careful if you're looking into jumping into any coins in the current sentiment right now. Anything can continue to dump. But, like I said, if you guys are even waiting for an entry, same thing. You could potentially throw in a small amount of a position here. If it dumps all the way to the lows, throw in another little chunk. Like, yes, you would be down 50% on that initial, but a lot of times that's just what it is when it comes to waiting for sentiment to take off, because then that would bring mainly your average would be around the middle between 120 and 60, probably around $1, maybe like 80, 90 cents. And then same thing, just continue to add as it ranges, as it chops, because again, once that next leg hits, if it does, and it's never going to 100% hit on any single project, right? But if it does, which all the coins I'm showing you guys here, I firmly think will at some point for various reasons. But if it chops, does this and that, once it does another major run, maybe it has a huge pump, it's probably going to pull a few X's, on its next leg up. Almost every coin that has potential, that is newer, that is still working, grinding, that hasn't died out, team hasn't gone ghost, most of these lower caps will probably have some sort of run if they get the proper attention as well. So keep that stuff in mind. As of right now, I think those are the 5 that I want to cover, that I've covered a lot in our Discord, that I've talked about on and off. But these I just think have a lot of potential going forward for AI coins that are lower in market cap right now. And in the next video tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow now, I'm going to cover the other 4 or 5 that I had that, again, I feel like, in my opinion, they'd be more higher risk, but also a lot of people have been talking about them. They also have a lot of potential, and just want to show you guys a ton of gems, because I really haven't done that all the way back since like mid to late 2023, mainly because sentiment was so low, and finding gems is a lot easier because everything was already down, and I feel like it's the same exact thing as it was late 2023. Most of the coins that ran from late 2023, early 2024 are already back down to their lows again, So that's why I'm going to just be spewing out a ton of gems that I really like, really believe in. But most of those coins, well, not most, all the ones that I covered today, I think have a ton of potential going forward. So long term, just be smart, be safe with your entries, and just continue to, watch these projects. But outside of that, I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow on the more higher risk stuff. So I appreciate it.